So after seeing 50 Shades of Grey, it can only go up from there because I went and saw Kingsman: The Secret Service right after it. This is a movie that I was actually looking forward to a lot, and it was a movie that's been getting pretty well received, and of course because of that, there's gonna be no audience for it. That's the only thing I was like don't like about like one of the things I don't like about this movie is that they released it at the wrong time. To release it right next on the same weekend with 50 Shades of Grey was a bad idea, and also on Valentine's Day, really bad idea because it's I like because they're a good example. Go to see 50 Shades of Grey. There's a crowd theater, women, and all that stuff like that. Go to Kingsman Secret Service. There's barely anybody in there. It's really sad, but of course, the movie that's getting really well received is gonna get no audience, and that's fucking sad. This is a movie I was really looking forward to. I like every time I got a trailer for this movie, I was like, this looks like a lot of fucking fun. Like I said, this looks like a nice send up to something like all the James Bond movies and all the British spy movies of the past. And it looked like Colin Firth was going to be a lot of fun in it, and that it was, it caught my attention, especially when I saw that Matthew Vaughn, the guy who made X-Men First Class and Kick-Ass, was directing it. I've liked both those movies, so I liked everything he's done up to this point. And I'm like, oh, every time I see his name pop up, I'm like, I guess see what he's doing next. It's one of those directors he's kind of caught my attention, and I'm intrigued every time he does something new. And it looked like I said, this movie looked like it would be a lot of fun, and you know what? It was a lot of fun. This movie was I really really liked this movie. It's definitely the best film I've seen so far this year. Up to this point, it was fucking The Wedding Ringer, so that should tell you the state of movies right now, and the fact that Wedding Ringer was the best film I've seen up to this point until I saw Kingsman: The Secret Service. This movie is way better than The Wedding Ringer. This movie I really enjoyed. Colin Firth is a lot of fun in this fucking movie. He's having a blast. You can tell he is. He I wish he would do more stuff like this because he's the serious actor that's always getting all these Oscar nominations, and you rarely see him do stuff like this. And it's like it's kind of a shame because he's having a lot of fun. He's really good in it. He's playing the British gentleman that he always plays in all those kinds of movies, but also being a pretty kick-ass spy, like with all these fun weapons that you would see in something like a James Bond movie. They're obviously a lot of the weapons he uses are like obvious like tributes to the goofy gadgets that James Bond had. The kid is really good. I liked the kid. I thought he was pretty likable. I don't know what his name was. I've seen him in something before. I can't remember off the top of my head what the fuck I've seen him in. I still can't. He's likable. He is the lead of this movie. He's really Colin Firth is not really the lead. It's the kid, and the kid is likable. He's the arrogant like little cocky kid that like stereotypical cocky kid that gets recruited by a secret agency and is proves to be like one of the best and all that stuff like that. You've seen it a million times before in like movies like this. But he's a lot of fun in this film. He definitely carried his own, especially with like acting giants like fucking Michael Caine and Colin Firth and Mark Strong and stuff like that. Samuel L. Jackson, fuck's sake. Samuel L. Jackson is also very fun in this movie. He is like a send up to like stereotypical like Bond villains. Like he has like a lisp. I still don't know why he has a lisp. I don't know why Samuel L. Jackson chose to give the character a lisp. Very weird, but I love the fact that he's a character that just doesn't love the sight of blood. They have to cover up like the dead bodies every time he comes into the room, and there's blood all over the place because he starts throwing up. Like he sees the sight of his own blood at one point and actually fucking starts throwing up. That's pretty funny on himself. It's no joke. It is pretty funny. Darn it. Anyways, also you got like I said, Michael Caine. Who's the leader of the Kingsmen, like basically the founder of the Kingsmen, and he's awesome. I think there's not much to say about Michael Caine that hasn't already been said. Mark Strong's in this, You don't get to see too much of Mark Strong being a badass. It's kind of refreshing to see Mark Strong not playing a villain for once, because he usually does. That's what he does half the time. And because he isn't the villain in this movie, if you're wondering, like he doesn't double cross. You almost kind of expect when you see Mark Strong, like he's gonna double cross him, but no, he doesn't. He's actually a good guy in this movie. This movie has some pretty creative things in this movie I really enjoyed, including the send up or the scene, the shootout at the not Westboro Baptist Church. That was a great scene. Basically, there's a church that isn't the Westboro Baptist Church by name, but you know it's a reference to them. Obviously, like they're like the God hates fags, like all that stuff like that. They hate, they say the N word and stuff like that, and like and there's a great that scene's so fucking great. And actually, just like that scene kind of took me out of like just like surprised the fuck out of me. Like where it went, I didn't expect that to go that way. And that scene is great. I recommend seeing that just for that scene alone. Jesus. I'm trying to think out. What was the other? Oh, I also love this. This is a first. When people's heads explode in this movie, they don't like explode into blood and guts. They explode into fireworks. I'm not joking there. And that sounds really. I know it sounds really fucking dumb. Trust me. I know it does. But trust me, it is pretty cool. It is pretty funny. Like it kind of fits the tone of the movie, like the absurdity of the movie, and you kind of understand why. Like I had to think about it. It's like Samuel L. Jackson is the mastermind behind like why people's heads explode. And you understand why he chose to have their heads explode into fireworks. Kind of makes sense if you since the character doesn't like blood and all stuff like that. But it's still pretty funny, and it's still kind of graphic. Even though it doesn't show blood, it's still pretty graphic. The movie is pretty, it earns its R rating. It definitely does. It's not as like graphic and violent as like Kick-Ass was, but it's pretty good. It's a little bit more tame than Kick-Ass was, but it definitely earns its R rating. This movie it's pretty violent. If there's any complaints I could have about this movie, there's some questionable CGI here and there. I can forgive like the fireworks looking a little cartoony when the heads explode, because really it is supposed to look cartoony. But like some of the explosions and some of the scenes, the CGI looked a little, it didn't look really good. That did kind of bother me a little bit. That when that kept when I kept seeing like CGI that you notice that looks too CGI-ish, like it doesn't look real, doesn't look like it really did happen. That did bother me. I'm trying to think. There's something else that I want to mention. I'm going to remember right when I get off here, and I'm going to get pissed because I forgot about it. Fuck. Damn it. I know there's something else that I liked. That I liked. I can't remember off the top of my head. Alright. I guess I'll just end it there. Jesus. But go see Kingsman: Secret Service. Don't go see 50 Shades of Grey. This movie's way better. It's a lot of fun. The other thing I liked about this movie, now I remember, was like it doesn't just pay homage to like stuff like James Bond and stuff like that. It also pays homage to a lot of different stuff. Like there's a lot of like subtle jokes about like subtle references to stuff. It doesn't nail you, bang you over the head with it, which I liked about it. It is still first and foremost a spy movie itself, and it doesn't just try to be a make all these references. Like, there's like a subtle reference to Get Smart at one point where they're talking about the one point the Colin Firth tells the kid that at one point the shoes they had phones in them. I'm like, ha ha ha. No, I'm the only one who got that joke. And then like I like the one point, like the scene where Michael Caine basically they have the kids that are training adopt dogs, and he asked the kid, like Michael Caine asked the kid what he named his little pug because he got a little pug. He said I named him JB. He's like, oh, what, after James Bond? He said no. Like Jason Bourne? No, I named him after Jack Bauer. That was kind of funny. I was like, that was kind of funny. So like it makes references to not just British stuff. It makes stuff to Jack Bauer in 24. That was funny. I liked this movie. It was a lot of fun. I recommend it. As far as trailers, I got a lot of new ones too. Fantastic Four looks better than the first set of films. I like Josh Trank. He's the guy who made Chronicle. You know, everybody's kind of like, is he a one-hit wonder? Or, you know, is he only good at making like found footage movies? What, you know, we'll see. I don't know. I have faith in him. I like Chronicle a lot, and that's one of the reasons why I have faith in him. That he might do a really good job. You know, Fantastic Four, you know, something that needed to be rebooted because the first two movies sucked. They did. They really fucking did. Speaking of stuff that sucks, Hitman Agent 47 was another trailer I got. Because that's what we needed, another Hitman movie. Yeah, that looks dumb. It looks... And it's being written by Skip Woods, the guy who wrote Die Hard 5, and every time he writes a movie, it's fucking garbage. So, fuck that movie. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, a new trailer I got for that. Fuck that shit. It's Kevin James. He's fat. Because he's fat, he's funny. God, like, there's only one person that was able to pull it off. That was Chris Farley. He's no fucking Chris Farley. Kevin James is no Chris fucking Farley. Chris Farley is like, he can't even hold his fucking jockstrap, for God's sake. I like, you know, I just, God, that movie looks awful. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I've never seen the TV show, but I've heard of it. It's a Guy Ritchie film. It's another spy movie with Henry Cavill or Superman and who's the guy from Social Network and Lone Ranger. What the fuck? Not Arlie Ermy. I almost said Arlie. That'd be actually awesome. Arlie Ermy's too old. Army Hammer. There we go. I don't know. It looks like a Guy Ritchie movie. It definitely is a Guy Ritchie movie. I wish he would do another Sherlock Holmes, but I guess we're not going to get one of those ever again. And the last trailer is a new trailer for Divergent series Insurgent. I never saw it again. I've said this. I've never seen the first one, and these trailers make me really fucking confused as to what the fuck is going on in these things. Like, somebody explain to me why, like, this movie's turning into Inception. I swear to God it is. I have no idea what the fuck is going on in those trailers whatsoever. Like, I don't know. Anyways, that's it for trailers. Go see Kingsman: Secret Service. Don't go see 50 Shades of Grey. Support a good movie, for God's sakes. I'll be back next week with... What the hell's out next week? I don't know what the fuck will be out next week. I don't know what I'll be seeing next week. I'll see something. So, until then, I'll talk to you guys later.